Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was a British statesman, soldier, and writer who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom twice, from 1940 to 1945 during the Second World War, and again from 1951 to 1955. As Prime Minister, 1940–45 during most of World War II, Winston Churchill rallied the British people and led the country from the brink of defeat to victory. He shaped Allied strategy in the war, and in the war's later stages he alerted the West to the expansionist threat of the Soviet Union. Winston Churchill is generally considered one of the greatest prime ministers for his leadership during the Second World War. All the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. A joke is a very serious thing. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory, victory at all costs, victory in spite of all terror, victory, however long and hard the road may be, for without victory, there is no survival. Before you can inspire with emotion, you must be swamped with it yourself. Before you can move their tears, your own must flow. To convince them, you must yourself believe. It is a good thing for an uneducated man to read books of quotations. Now this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is, perhaps, the end of the beginning. From now on, ending a sentence with a preposition is something up with which I will not put. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears and sweat. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Sometimes doing your best is not good enough. Sometimes you must do what is required. Occasionally he stumbled over the truth, but hastily picked himself up and hurried on as if nothing had happened. However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. We contend that for a nation to try to tax itself into prosperity is like a man standing in a bucket and trying to lift himself up by the handle. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. There is something about the outside of a horse that is good for the inside of a man. It is a mistake to try to look too far ahead. The chain of destiny can only be grasped one link at a time. When you get a thing the way you want it, leave it alone. The inherent vice of capitalism is the unequal sharing of blessings. The inherent vice of socialism is the equal sharing of miseries. An old battle axe of the woman said to Winston Churchill, "If you were my husband I would put poison in your tea." Churchill's response, "Ma'am, if you were my wife I would drink it." A politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. And to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen. There is no doubt that it is around the family and the home that all the greatest virtues, the most dominating virtues of human, are created, strengthened and maintained. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something, sometime in your life. Men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing had happened. If you are going through hell, keep going. My tastes are simple, I am easily satisfied with the best. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Tact is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. It is not enough that we do our best. Sometimes we must do what is required. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. A lady came up to me one day and said, "Sir, you are drunk." To which I replied, "I am drunk today, madam, and tomorrow I shall be sober, but you will still be ugly." Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in, except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. Nothing in life is so exhilarating as to be shotted without result. A fanatic is one who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Personally, I'm always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. For myself, I am an optimist. It does not seem to be much use to be anything else. The price of greatness is responsibility. The greatest lesson in life is to know that even fools are right sometimes. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. Don't interrupt me while I'm interrupting. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. He has all the virtues I dislike and none of the vices I admire. To improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. A good speech should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject and short enough to create interest. Everyone is in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without its being extolled, but some people's idea of it is that they are free to say what they like. But if anyone else says anything back, that is an outrage. We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. We are all worms, but I do believe that I am a glowworm. We sleep safely at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. When the eagles are silent, the parrots begin to jabber. If you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once. then come back and hit it again. Then hit it a third time, a tremendous whack. I pass with relief from the tossing sea of cause and theory to the firm ground of result and fact. In the course of my life, I have often had to eat my words, and I must confess that I have always found it a wholesome diet.